Have you ever felt completely alone in a room full of people? Have you ever tried to share something important with someone you care about, only to be met with blank stares or complete misunderstanding? Have you ever wondered why certain relationships that once felt so right suddenly feel so wrong, even though nothing obvious has changed? Today, we're re-diving into one of the most painful yet enlightening experiences on the spiritual journey, the vibrational gap. This is the invisible chasm that opens up between you and the people you love when you begin to vibrate at a different frequency. It's the reason why they couldn't meet you where you are, and more importantly, why that's actually a sign of your growth, not your failure. Welcome to Quantum Love, where we explore the quantum mechanics of human connection and spiritual evolution. I'm here to show you that when people can't meet you where you are, it's not because you're too much or not enough. It's because you're operating on a different frequency. And that's not only okay, it's necessary for your evolution. The vibrational gap is one of the most misunderstood aspects of spiritual growth. People talk about raising your vibration, about ascending, about becoming your highest self, but they rarely talk about the loneliness that comes with it. They rarely talk about the relationships that fall away. They rarely talk about the grief of outgrowing people you love. They rarely talk about the isolation of seeing things others can't see yet. But this is real. This is what happens when you commit to your growth, when you do your healing work, when you raise your consciousness. You begin to vibrate at a frequency that not everyone can match. And the people who can't match it, no matter how much you love them, no matter how much history you share, they simply cannot meet you where you are. Not because they're bad people, not because they don't care, but because they're not on the same vibrational wavelength. Think of it like a radio. If you're broadcasting at FM 95.5 and someone else is tuned to AM 560, it doesn't matter how loud you turn up the volume, they won't hear you. It doesn't matter how clearly you speak, they won't understand you. It's not a character flaw on either side. It's a frequency mismatch, and in human relationships, frequency is everything. When you raise your vibration through healing, through consciousness work, through shadow integration, through spiritual practice, you literally change the frequency at which you operate. Your thoughts become different. Your emotions become more refined. Your energy becomes clearer. Your perspective expands. You see connections others don't see. You feel things others don't feel. You understand nuances others aren't aware of. And suddenly, the conversations you used to have feel shallow. The activities you used to enjoy feel empty. The relationships you used to treasure feel draining. The environments you used to tolerate become unbearable. This isn't you being judgmental or thinking you're better than others. This is a natural consequence of frequency evolution. In quantum physics, there's a principle called resonance. Objects vibrate at their natural frequency, and when two objects have compatible frequencies, they resonate with each other. Their vibrations amplify each other. They're in harmony. But when frequencies are incompatible, they create dissonance. They clash. They drain energy from each other rather than amplifying it. Your relationships work the same way. When you and another person are vibrating at similar frequencies, there's resonance. Conversation flows effortlessly. Understanding is intuitive. You feel energized after spending time together. There's a sense of being seen, being met, being matched. This is vibrational alignment, and it's what creates deep, nourishing connections. But when there's a vibrational gap, when you're operating at significantly different frequencies, there's dissonance. Conversations feel forced, misunderstandings are constant. You feel drained after interactions. There's a sense of talking past each other, of not being seen, of not being understood. And no amount of effort can bridge that gap because you co-enforce frequencies to align through willpower. Here is what most people don't realize. The vibrational gap isn't about one person being higher or better than another. It's about compatibility at this particular moment in time. Someone can be an incredible soul, a good person, someone you deeply love, and still not be a vibrational match for where you are right now. And that's okay. That doesn't diminish their worth or yours. It's simply energetic reality. The pain of the vibrational gap comes from attachment. We want people to grow with us. We want our loved ones to evolve at the same pace. We want to share our new insights and have them understand. We want to bring them along on our journey, but evolution doesn't work that way. Everyone is on their own timeline, their own path, their own frequency journey. You cannot drag someone to a frequency they're not ready for. You cannot force someone to see what they're not ready to see. You cannot make someone understand what their consciousness hasn't expanded enough to comprehend yet. And trying to do so only creates suffering for both of you. It creates frustration, resentment, disappointment, and exhaustion. This is one of the hardest lessons on the spiritual path. Accepting that some people, even people you love deeply, cannot come with you to where you're going. Not right now. Maybe not ever. And that's not a reflection of your love for them or their love for you. It's simply the nature of individual evolution. When you first start noticing the vibrational gap, it's common to blame yourself. You think maybe you're being too intense, too serious, too spiritual, too much. You think maybe if you just tone it down, if you just pretend you don't see what you see, if you just play small, then the relationship can continue as it was. So you try. You dim your light. You lower your frequency. You contort yourself to fit into spaces that no longer fit you. But here's what happens. Dimming your light to make others comfortable doesn't help them, and it destroys you. When you lower your frequency to match someone else's, you're not meeting them where they are out of love. You're abandoning yourself out of fear. Fear of being alone. Fear of being too much. Fear of outgrowing the familiar. And the universe doesn't reward self-abandonment. It rewards authenticity. Every time you shrink yourself to fit into a relationship that no longer resonates, you create internal dissonance. Your soul knows the truth. Your higher self knows where you belong. And the gap between who you're being and who you actually are creates profound unhappiness. You become depressed, anxious, restless, irritable. You lose your sense of self. You forget why you started this journey in the first place. The vibrational gap also manifests in very specific ways that you need to recognize. When someone can't meet you where you are, conversations become You can talk about the weather, about what you did today, about mundane logistics, but the moment you try to go deeper, the moment you try to share what's really happening in your inner world, you're met with discomfort, deflection, or blank incomprehension. They might change the subject. They might make a joke to lighten the mood. They might zone out. They might respond with something completely unrelated, showing they didn't actually hear you. They might get defensive, as if your growth is somehow an attack on them. They might dismiss what you're saying as too weird, too out there, too much, and you're left feeling unseen, unheard, and more alone than if you'd said nothing at all. Another sign of the vibrational gap is that you start to feel drained after spending time with certain people, even people you love. Before, their presence energized you. Now, every interaction feels like you're giving and giving and giving, and receiving nothing in return. Not because they're bad people or energy vampires, but because there's no longer resonance. Your frequencies aren't exchanging energy harmoniously. Instead, yours is being pulled down to meet theirs, and that creates depletion. You might also notice that topics that fascinate you bore them. Conversations that light you up confuse them. Practices that heal you seem strange to them. Books that change your life don't interest them. Experiences that expand your consciousness feel threatening to them. This isn't judgment on either side. It's simply that you're tuning into different stations now, accessing different information, resonating with different frequencies. The vibrational gap becomes especially painful in romantic relationships. You might have built a life with someone, created a history, made commitments, and suddenly you're re-looking at each other across a chasm that neither of you knows how to cross. You still care. You still have love, but the resonance is gone. The effortless flow is gone. The feeling of being truly met is gone. And you have a choice. You can stay and hope they'll eventually catch up, continuously frustrated by the gap between where you are and where they are. You can stay and dim your light, sacrificing your growth to maintain the relationship. Or you can honor the vibrational gap, acknowledge that you've grown in different directions, and release the relationship with love and gratitude for what it was, even as you accept what it can no longer be. None of these choices are easy. None of them are pain-free, but one of them honors your truth, and one of them abandons it. And in the quantum field, honoring your truth always leads to your highest timeline, even when it's painful in the moment. Here's something crucial to understand. The vibrational gap doesn't make anyone wrong. The person who can't meet you where you are isn't less evolved, isn't less valuable, isn't less worthy. They're simply on a different path, at a different stage, operating at a different frequency, and that's perfect for them, even if it's no longer compatible with you. Spiritual growth isn't linear, and it isn't a competition. Some souls came here to have different experiences than you. Some souls are working on different lessons. Some souls are meant to stay in certain frequencies for longer, because that's what serves their evolution. Your journey is not their journey, and their timeline is not your timeline. The judgment comes when we think our path is the right path, when we think everyone should be growing at our pace, when we think our frequency is the frequency everyone should aspire to. But the universe doesn't work that way. Consciousness evolves uniquely for each soul, and what looks like stagnation from your perspective might be exactly what someone else needs for their journey. That said, you are not required to stay in relationships that no longer serve your highest good, just because you understand this. Understanding why someone can meet you where you are doesn't mean you have to keep trying to connect across the vibrational gap. Compassion for their journey and honoring your own path can coexist. You can wish them well from a distance. You can hold love for them while releasing the relationship. You can bless their journey while walking your own. One of the most liberating realizations on the spiritual path is this: you are not responsible for anyone's evolution but your own. You are not here to save anyone, to fix on you, and to drag anyone into higher consciousness against their will. You are here to walk your path, to honor your frequency, to become who you came here to become. And sometimes that means walking alone for a while. The vibrational gap can also show up with family, and this is often the most painful version, because these are relationships you didn't choose. Relationships with deep roots. Relationships with expectations and obligations attached. Your family knew you before you started this journey. They have an image of who you are, who you've always been, and when you begin to evolve beyond that image, it can be deeply threatening to them. They might try to pull you back. They might mock your new interests. They might pathologize your growth, suggesting you need therapy, or that you've joined a cult, or that you've lost your mind. They might use guilt, saying you've changed. You're not the same person. You're too good for them now. And all of this is really just their fear of the vibrational gap. Their discomfort with the fact that you're operating on a frequency they can't access yet. This doesn't make them bad people. It makes them human. Change is threatening, especially when it's happening to someone close to you. When you change, it holds up a mirror to everyone around you, forcing them to confront their own stagnation, their own resistance to growth, their own fear of evil, and most people don't want to look in that mirror. So what do you do when the vibrational gap opens up with people you retied to by blood, by history, by circumstance? You hold boundaries. You protect your energy. You limit exposure to frequencies that pull you down. You love them from whatever distance is necessary to maintain your own frequency. And you release the fantasy that they'll understand, that they'll support you, that they'll celebrate your growth. You find your tribe instead. And this is the beautiful flip side of the vibrational gap. When you raise your frequency, yes, you lose resonance with some people, but you gain resonance with others. Suddenly, you start meeting people who speak your language, who see what you see, who understand what you understand. People you can have those deep conversations with. People who energize rather than drain you. People who celebrate your growth rather than fear it. The universe abhors a vacuum. When you release relationships that no longer resonate, you create space for relationships that do. But you have to be willing to let go first. You have to be willing to stand in the temporary loneliness of the vibrational gap, trusting that on the other side are connections more beautiful than you can imagine. Connections based not on history or obligation or comfort, but on true vibrational resonance. These new connections often feel different from anything you've experienced before. There's an immediate recognition, a sense of coming home, a depth of understanding that would have taken years to develop in your old relationships, but it happens instantly because you're vibrating at the same frequency. This is soul family. This is quantum connection. This is what becomes possible when you stop shrinking yourself to maintain resonance with people who QoE and match your frequency. Here's another layer to the vibrational gap that's important to understand. It's not permanent. Frequencies are always shifting. Someone who QA and meets you where you are today might be able to meet you in a year, in 5 years, in 10 years. You never know when someone's consciousness is going to expand, when they're going to have their awakening, when they're going to start their own healing journey. Sometimes the most loving thing you can do is step back, honor the vibrational gap, and trust that if you meant to reconnect, the universe will orchestrate it at the perfect time when both of your frequencies are compatible again. Forcing connection before that time only creates suffering, but allowing space for natural evolution creates the possibility for genuine reunion down the line. And sometimes, people from your past reappear in your life, and you're shocked to discover that they've been on their own journey, doing their own work, raising their own frequency. And suddenly, where there was once a gap, there's now resonance again. Not the same as before, because you both evolved, but something new and beautiful, built on the foundation of mutual growth. This is why you don't have to burn bridges when you honor the vibrational gap. You don't have to make dramatic exits or harsh proclamations. You can simply create space, reduce contact, shift your energy away from relationships that no longer serve you, all while leaving the door open for a potential future connection if frequencies realign. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. Either way, you've honored your truth. The vibrational gap also teaches you about unconditional love in a way nothing else can, because when you truly love someone unconditionally, you love them enough to let them be exactly where they are, even if it means you can't be in close relationship with them. You love them enough to not need them to change for you, to not need them to understand you, to not need them to validate your journey. You love them enough to release all expectations, all needs, all attachments to who you want them to be, or how you want them to show up. You simply love them as they are, from whatever distance is necessary for both of you to thrive. This is mature love. This is quantum love. This is the kind of love that honors both souls' journeys without trying to control or manipulate the outcome. The vibrational gap also forces you to confront your own worthiness issues. When people can't meet you where you are, it can trigger deep wounds around belonging, around being too much or not enough, around being fundamentally different or unlovable. These are old stories, usually from childhood, where you learned that being your authentic self wasn't safe, wasn't accepted, wasn't enough. But here is the truth. The people who meet you where you are young rejecting you. They're simply not a match for your current frequency, and that's not a reflection of your worth. It's a reflection of vibrational compatibility. You are not too much. You are not enough. You are exactly right for the people who are vibrating at your frequency, and those are the people who matter now. The spiritual journey requires you to develop a different kind of belonging. Not belonging based on conformity, on making yourself small, on hiding your truth, but belonging based on authenticity, on showing up fully, on honoring your frequency, no matter who can or cannot match it. This is self. This is coming home to yourself. And once you have that, you realize you are never really alone. When you belong to yourself, when you're at home in your own frequency, other people's inability to meet you, there stops being a wound and starts being information. It's simply data about compatibility, about alignment, about whether this relationship serves your highest timeline right now. You stop taking it personally. You stop making it mean something about your worth. You simply notice, honor what is, and make choices accordingly. There is also a phenomenon that happens as you continue to raise your frequency. The vibrational gap gets easier to navigate, not because it hurts less when people can't meet you, but because you develop more trust in the process. You've seen enough evidence that when you honor your frequency, the universe brings you people who match it. You've experienced enough synchronistic connections to know that you're not meant to do this journey alone. Even if you're temporarily between tribes, you also start to recognize the vibrational gap more quickly, which means less time wasted trying to force connections that aren't meant to be. You can feel it in the first conversation. You can sense it in the energy exchange. You can see it in how someone responds to your truth. And instead of trying to bridge an unbridgeable gap, you simply bless the interaction and move on, trusting that your people are out there, already looking for you too. Because here's what's happening on the other side of the vibrational gap. There are people who have been doing their own work, raising their own frequency, feeling their own loneliness, wondering if anyone out there speaks their language, and they're vibrating at your frequency. They're ready to meet you exactly where you are. They're looking for the deep conversations you want to have, They're seeking the kind of authentic connection you're craving, but they can't find you if you're re-hiding in relationships that require you to dim your light. They can't recognize you if you're re-wearing a mask of who you used to be to keep old connections comfortable. They can't resonate with you if you're suppressing your frequency to avoid the vibrational gap. You have to be willing to stand fully in your truth, in your light, in your frequency, even if it means standing alone for a while, so that your people can find you. This is the paradox of the vibrational gap. The willingness to be alone in your truth is what creates the possibility for genuine connection. The courage to honor your frequency, even when no one around you matches it, is what magnetizes people who do match it. The universe rewards authenticity with resonance, but you have to be authentic first. And maybe this is the deepest lesson of the vibrational gap. It's not about them at all. It's about you claiming your frequency regardless of external validation. It's about you trusting your path even when no one around you understands it. It's about you honoring your evolution, even when it costs you relationships you once treasured. It's about you becoming so solid in your own truth that other people's inability to meet you there doesn't shake you. When you reach that place, something magical happens. The vibrational gap stops being a problem and becomes a filter. It filters out people who aren't aligned. It protects you from relationships that would drain you. It ensures that your energy is available for connections that truly nourish you. The vibrational gap becomes your friend, your guardian, your guide toward your highest timeline. You also start to see the beauty in everyone being exactly where they are. You stop needing people to be different. You stop waiting for them to wake up, to grow up, to catch up. You simply see them with compassion, appreciate what they brought to your journey, and release them with love. You trust that their journey is unfolding perfectly for them, just as yours is for you. And in that trust, in that release, in that honoring of the vibrational gap, you free yourself. You free yourself from the prison of trying to maintain connections that no longer serve you. You free yourself from the exhaustion of explaining yourself to people who can't understand. You free yourself from the loneliness of being surrounded by people who can't truly see you. You step into a different kind of life. A life where your relationships are based on resonance, not history. A life where your connections energize you rather than drain you. A life where you can show up fully without fear of being too much or not enough. A life where the vibrational gap is you and something to overcome, but something to honor as a natural part of Eva. If this message resonated with you, if you've felt the pain and the liberation of the vibrational gap, show your support by hitting that like button right now. Your engagement helps this reach others who are standing alone in their truth, wondering if anyone else understands. And if you haven't subscribed to Quantum Love yet, do it now and turn on notifications. We're exploring the quantum mechanics of relationships, consciousness, and evolution every single week. Remember, the vibrational gap isn't rejection. It's redirection toward your true tribe, your real resonance, your highest timeline. Trust the process. Honor your frequency. Your people are looking for you. I'll see you in the next video.